Hi, I'm Mark McCullough, Master Mason for this old house, and I'm at our current project down here in Narragansett, Rhode Island. And as you can see, Hardscape is playing a huge part in this renovation. This property is a few blocks from the beach. We knew the homeowners wanted a playground in their small backyard. They also needed curb appeal out front. In this historic town, that meant natural materials. So we turned to John Machunas and Polycor for some help. How you doing, John?
Good. Thanks for having me down here, Mark.
Yeah, what do you think of our project?
This looks unbelievable, especially over the last couple of months. That the transformation is incredible. And I love the use of the natural stone here. You know, this really makes the house pop and just ties into the local history.
Right, so we're happy as heck with that aspect of it. But I know Polycor has a long history of providing stone for historic projects.
That's correct. Polycor is actually the largest quarrier of natural stone in North America. And some of our largest quarries actually date back to the mid-1800s. So some of our more famous projects, anywhere between the Empire State Building and Rockefeller Center to the U.S. Capitol, Lincoln Memorial, to over 2/3 of the U.S. state capitals, all of those projects were all constructed using our natural stone.
Stone is actually the original green material.
That's correct.
No carbon footprint.
None at all.
Nice.
Great. Mark, you want to show me a little bit more of the project?
Let's go this way. So out front here, we have a couple different things going on, but right here is the driveway. So as you can see, we have a cobblestone apron here. We're gonna put a cobblestone apron out front. We're just waiting for a curb cut right now. On both sides, we're gonna have a border to contain what we're gonna call our driveway, which is a mixture of pea stone and gravel. So the first thing we did after we dug down was we poured this concrete.
Okay.
Very, very thick. You never know what's gonna wanna come through this garage door. Sometimes they have a truck unloading furniture, that type of thing. So we wanna be prepared for that. Okay. So nice, thick bed of concrete down there. On top of that concrete, we put a groove in it, and that way, that groove, when we set these cobblestone down in a mortar bed, that groove is going to grab that mortar bed, and that way we're going to have cohesiveness. So after that, as you can see, we stuck with the running bond, but one of the details we're going to use as we joint this is we're going to keep our joint there. We're going to use the polymetric sand, which is what everybody seems to like these days, but we're going to keep it down about a 1/2 inch, and that's going to let us define this cobblestone even more.
Give a little definition.
Right.
So Mark, these are Polycor's Woodbury granite pavers. These are actually quarried out of Vermont. This is probably one of the hardest substances that you can use in a hardscape feature.
Oh, you can tell. But another aspect of this stone that I like is the edges. You can only get those edges if someone who knows what they're doing produces them. You got to hammer that edge. That'll give us that old school look that we're looking for. Sometimes you might chip a stone or bust it up a little bit, but that's what we're looking for in the end.
Exactly. You get that historic feel to the look of the stones.
Right.
This is actually probably the most popular kind of stone that's used in hardscapes throughout New England.
So out here at the patio, John, I know we're using the limestone. I know that because this is one of my favorite products of all time. I love the evenness and the flatness, and I just love the finish of this stuff.
This is one of the most popular stones that's used throughout the world. This is Indiana limestone. This is quarried out of southern Indiana, out of our Empire Quarry, which is obviously named after the Empire State Building. Here locally, though, a lot of Rhode Islanders may know this stone. It's actually on one of the most famous buildings in Rhode Island, the Breakers Mansion in Newport.
Sure.
It was built back in 1895 by the Vanderbilt family. And the limestone that was used on that project is the same exact limestone that we're using on this project.
All right. So, John, I see some different coloration in this stone right here. What's up with that?
So, Mark, this is Indiana limestone full color blend.
Okay.
And what you can see here is that we have a bit of a mix. We have buff on the top, and then we have some gray features over here. And in our quarries, the top of the quarry is going to be more of a buff color, and as we get toward the bottom, we have gray. But in between, we have buff and gray with the two meet. And that's what we want to have in a hardscape feature, a two-color blend.
Right.
And for this project, it works perfectly.
Yeah, this stuff is great. I love this stuff. So, John, this is the showpiece of our outdoor kitchen, the stove. Now, the patio stuff I absolutely love, but the stone that we're using on the fireplace, same stuff?
That's right, Mark. This is what we call the Rockford Thin Veneer State Series. This is still Indiana limestone full color blend, but what we've done here is that we actually took the same stone on the base, and we wind up splitting it and tumbling it and sawing it into the back. So this winds up becoming a 1-inch nominal thin veneer that the mason can apply.
So what's the difference between, say, this stuff and like a manufactured stone?
Well, the difference between the natural and the concrete is that the natural is obviously a real stone made over millions of years ago. The concrete, though, that's a mixture of concrete, aggregates, and some chemicals that are meant to mimic the stone. But when you're installing this kind of unit into the wall, you're not going to be able to cut a manufactured stone and still use it into place unless you're going to be hiding that side. So with this stone here, this is what we call a freestone. You're going to be able to cut it, reuse those pieces, and it's really just adapts so well to the project here.
Right. So if we had to make a particular cut, say on this arch or whatever, we would take this stone, we'd make our cut, but I would take my hammer, a bush hammer or my brick hammer, and I would just bang that edge, and that would chip off and again continue that look of the tumbled edge. That's another reason we love it. It's just easy to work with.
And I noticed, Mark, on this project here, we actually use this on the foundation of the house as well.
That's right over here. I love the way the stone works on the foundation. Number one, this is always a forgotten area. People put stucco on it or they'll parge it, but you can see by adding that limestone, the continuity between the fireplace, the floor, and now the foundation is just the way to finish this thing off.
Yeah, Mark, I love the flow right up into the house.
Right. All right, so I really like this stone inside. Similar to what we used outside, but very different in a lot of aspects. You can see this nice straight line right here. I love that. It's on the other side as well, and that contains a lot of the irregularities that we do have in this stone. I love the way this dips in right here. You can see the way this one kind of chips out. That's what gives it the ton of character that you see. These pieces of quartz, you can see how they just pop out and sparkle in the whole veneer. And one of the other things that I love is the size differential. You're not just one size going all the way across. We jump from this block to that block to a thinner block all the way through. It's great.
This is actually Polycor's Georgia Marble Pearl Gray. This is one of my favorite stones that I have. Where this is actually famous is that this is the same stone that was used for the Lincoln Memorial as well as the Rhode Island State House. This is obviously comes out of Georgia. The difference between here and outside is that this is what we call our Berkshire thin veneer. The Berkshire is split only and it's not tumbled like we had with the Rockford on the fireplace. You can take a look at this color here. One, we see that the split face is really making this color come out, but also we can take a look at the grain pattern here. And so we can see the different marbleization of color. We can see the streaking pattern going from left to right, but we can also see it coming from top to bottom. And the color just really pops. It's really a statement piece here for the living room.
Oh yeah, this color is, I mean, there's probably 12 different colors in that one stone. All right, well, what do you think, John?
Well, Mark, this job is incredible. I really think the homeowners are gonna love this yard for years to come. And I love how the natural stone really brings that sense of history and elegance here to the yard.
All right, well, give us 2 more weeks and this place will be spick and span.
All right, can't
All
wait.
right.